Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2020 horror film Pipeline, a film that is written and directed by Emily Aguilar. Right, this film focuses on a house that is infested with a beastie in the pipes, and there is a family that has their own reasons for keeping this secret. And a group of teens turn up to this house for a weekend stay, and guess what? They are preyed upon by this beastie in the pipes. That is essentially the story without giving any spoilers away. What are my thoughts on Pipeline? Oh boy, how to be kind to this film. Right, I think the idea here is sound. Do you remember the old X-Files episode? I think it was Toombs, was it? Eugene Toombs? You know, the guy who used to, creep through, letterboxes and small windows and things like that. And it was really creepy. Some of the scariest episodes they ever did on X-Files. I think they did two with Eugene Toombs. And they were brilliant. Very, very effective, because you just didn't feel safe in your own home watching those episodes. This was a creature that could get you at any point through air vents, letterboxes, you name it, he could do it. And it was very, very scary. That's the thought of it. And I think this film has that premise. It could have been that kind of film, like a big screen version of almost like Tombs. But they blew it. Basically, with this film here, what we get here is too many faults to forgive what is essentially a pretty good premise. Now, this is obviously a low budget film. That is very, very clear from watching it, and it's another reason why this idea is a sound one for a low budget film, because you don't need to show a lot. It's a beast living in the pipes. But the problem this film makes is it stretches the believability factor. Now, you can believe that there is a creature that could stretch itself through air vents, or I don't know, letterboxes, or pipes even. We've seen that sort of thing done successfully before, as I mentioned. But I just can't buy human beings being pulled into washing machines, literally pulled around. I mean, I've used washing machines. I'm sure you have as well. Have a look in your washing machine. Could you fit someone through the back of a washing machine? No. Could you fit a human being down a plug hole? No. And this film tries to make you believe that, and I just didn't buy it. All you saw in some of these scenes were like bloodied hands on the wall, like dragging down the wall, like bloodied hands and things, and red water basically, or red on a washer, or that sort of thing. And I didn't buy it. In fact, it looked ridiculous for the most part, which is a real shame. The performances here didn't help. I think it's fair to say there were some fairly awkward performances here, not just by the young cast members, some of the older cast members as well. It just didn't fit. There was no chemistry between any of the cast, even though some of them were supposed to be friends, some of them were supposed to be family. Didn't buy it. There was a couple, well, there were a lot of them in relationships, but there were this primary couple in a relationship, and they acted like they were complete strangers. Zero chemistries anywhere. And there's like these fake party scenes where they are drinking beers and laughing at each other's jokes that was just cringy. You didn't buy it. And for a film with a low budget that's got a creature that it doesn't need to show, if done correctly, all these things need to work in a movie like this. The chemistry, the dialogue, the characters here in this film, you have zero interest in or care about them, unfortunately. In fact, I couldn't really even tell you any of the character names. Then the reasoning behind this creature in the walls is never fully explained, and when you do get an explanation as to what it is, that just makes you scratch your head even more as to why this is being facilitated, if you know what I mean. A very odd film with a very, very good premise is how I would describe this film. Executed poorly by pretty much everybody, with a great idea, and it is such a real shame. I did think the premise here had an awful lot going for it, and it was the right thing to do to not show much in the way of this creature. A, because they didn't have the budget for it, and B, they didn't need to. But what they chose to show instead was so unbelievable and fairly laughable, it just gave no credence to the film. You didn't believe anything that you saw in the film from those scenes, and it's a shame. And again, you just, to kind of fill the gap between the attacks and things like that, you've got darkened rooms with people banging on walls and doors, and then you've got scenes that you just can't forgive. There's a scene in the film where there's a couple of characters with their hands and feet like bound together, but they can still move the fingers like this, and they've got masking tape over the mouths, and they're trying to get this stuff off, and they're talking through this masking tape to each other and to others, shall we say, and all they could have done was just pull that masking tape off. Sorry, that's me on the microphone there. Just rip it off, but they don't. They're like shouting and yelling through this masking tape, and you're looking at it thinking, well, you could easily take that masking tape off. It seems like that you just can't forgive in a film like this, unfortunately. So there's way too much got wrong with this film. Pretty cool premise, admitted. Unfortunately, I just don't think they did enough with this film at all, really. So it's a 3 out of 10 from me, unfortunately. This is probably one to avoid. And if you're interested in this sort of premise, just go and watch them X-Files episodes, the Eugene Toombs ones. Those are infinitely better than what you're going to watch here. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you found this review useful. Of course, I will be back with plenty more content on the channel very soon.